KC.
Hey, how are you?
KC Clyde, I just, not just, but a few months ago, saw you in Alien Country. Hilarious movie.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a sci-fi nerd. I was really interested to watch that. And just to start with this, I like how it's usually the scientists of the military dealing with the aliens. It's never a guy like your character, Boston McConaughey, who is an aspiring demolition derby enthusiast and a regular guy who's got a pregnant girlfriend he's got to think about and stuff like that. And I think that was a very interesting concept for me anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I remember reading that script and thinking, this is really different from a genre that I feel like I know,
Yeah.
And the humor in that script as well, and just kind of the way that the dialogue kind of rat-a-tat back and forth, I just thought was really, really fun and interesting. And I'm proud of that movie, man. They did a really, really good job with it, and the CGI on that, and the special effects, and the storylines, and all of that sort of stuff. So people have really enjoyed it. So I'm glad you checked it out for sure.
Yeah, it's a really, really funny movie. And now you are in another one called The Lightning Code, kind of a science fiction thing also about, it's about a form of energy discovered by a kid, and then there's an evil corporation who's trying to take it away. And, now that I think about it, a little bit like Alien Country, except Alien Country had that little twist. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Had a little twist in the end about that part.
Right.
But this has
it does. It has a lot of similarities, right? Because both movies, but especially Lightning Code, there's a lot of humor in it. There's some dramatic moments as well, but it's sci-fi, it's action adventure. There's a love story there. We've even got a talking robot. It's a really, really good time for sure. It's very much a popcorn movie, right? And I think the similarities there, and especially now coming into theaters, starting with this, summer blockbusters, if you will. So for people to find this one that they can kind of take their whole family to, I think is a really, really great little movie. Yeah.
So this is like a couple of science fiction movies in a row. Is this something that you want to pursue, being a science fiction guy?
Yeah, it's a good question. I love science fiction. Like you, I'm a huge fan of the genre, and if they want to keep knocking on my door, I would love to keep going down it. But the truth is that I'm more known for dramatic stuff, especially television wise, having worked on Yellowstone for 3 seasons, and then now I work on Landman, all with Taylor Sheridan. And those, they have humor in them, but they are, they're definitely dramas for sure. And so I feel like that's usually more the stuff that comes across my desk. And so these 2 movies and a couple of others have just been incredible fun and departures for me to be able to get over and come and play in these worlds, which has been great.
Yellowstone is such a solid show. And what's the experience like there on the set?
Yeah, Yellowstone was great. I mean, it really was a dream come true. That was something that I was chasing for a minute. I had seen Sicario and Hell or High Water and just was such a fan of Taylor's work and his worlds. And when that, little insider baseball here, but when that pilot script came out, was kind of floating around Los Angeles and New York, I was like, man, I got to get in for this thing. And was lucky enough to finally get something starting in season 3 at the end of season 2, and then, they kept bringing me back. So that was great. And being on the set is phenomenal, and that was such a great time. And then now being on Landman, though, it's such a different breath than Yellowstone. The thing that's been incredible to watch is the audience's love for Landman. I mean, our numbers for season 1 were as high as season 4 of Yellowstone, which is incredible to think about. So people are loving it. Every day I'm on set, I'm, kind of looking around the table, if you will, and thinking, wait a minute, how did I get here? You got Billy Bob Thornton and John Hamm and Demi Moore and Michael Pena and Andy Garcia, and, we've got Sam Elliott with us this year, and it's just, you're like, what in the world? This is incredible. So super lucky for sure.
Any weird Billy Bob Thornton stories? I think he's mellowed over the years, but he used to be the guy that was causing trouble all the time. Good trouble.
Yeah, I don't have any of those because, like you, I mean, I grew up in the 90s, and so, obviously not being in the industry at that time, but, kind of seeing Billy Bob as this thing, this 90s thing, and you always heard all of these stories, and so getting on set, I wasn't sure, but, God, he couldn't he couldn't be more genuine, more down to earth, the nicest guy in the world. Like, I love him. I really do. I'd go into war with that guy. He is just salt of the earth, one of the best dudes I know. So, yeah, real grateful for him, for sure.
Now, when you're not in front of the camera, you are doing a bit of writing, some screenwriting. You actually were published in the New Yorker when you were 17 years old. Yeah,
isn't that crazy? Yeah. I actually got to Los Angeles as a writer. So, published in the New Yorker at 17, and won a couple of writing contests in my late teens, and then wrote a script in my early, 20 years old, and then got picked, and that script won Slam Dance, and got picked up, and that's basically kind of was the vehicle, more or less, that I used coming to Los Angeles. So it was always kind of known as a hyphenate, a writer that can act, an actor that could write, so to speak, and, we have a couple of shows right now that are currently picked up that we're pitching another television show with myself, and I have a writing partner now as well. But yeah, that's something that I've always done, and I have such an affinity for writing. Like, I love it so much, and which is why I'm very grateful for shows like The Lightning Code and Landman and, Yellowstone and Alien Country, where you can really, as a writer, look back and be like, okay, these guys are doing something here, and I would love to be a part of that. So, yeah.
So you said you went to L.A. originally to be a writer. Did you have no interest in acting? Did you want to solely focus on writing? And if that was the case, how did you get in front of the camera?
Yeah, no, not necessarily. I wanted to come for all of it, if that makes sense at all. It just felt like writing was the thing that people said yes to first. And when I got with my first little set of representation out here as a writer, I told them right out the bat, I was like, I'm also an actor, and I want to act. And they're like, what have you done? I was like, really nothing. I had, done a couple of guest stars. I think, I played boy number 2 in a library. I don't know, right? Just real small things. But the script that I had won Slam Dance with, we actually made into a short, some friends and I. And the short is unwatchable. Let's be very clear. It is terribly bad. We had no money. We had no clue what we were doing. We did it ourselves, and we submitted it to every festival you can think of and just got rejected across the board. But I had at least tape of me acting, and the acting was good. The movie is terrible. And so from that, they kind of picked me up and set me on some auditions, and I was able to get the first couple that I kind of went for and get a little lucky there kind of before I knew what I was doing to at least establish okay, he's not a total dumpster fire. Let's give it a shot. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. KC Clyde, thank you very much for joining us this morning. The Lightning Code, check it out. It's when does that come out? That's
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's this Friday, right?
Yeah, any place where you look up movies, you can also go to lightningcode.com, and it'll give you the list of theaters that it's playing in your area. So, yeah, go check it out this Friday.
Awesome. KC, thanks for taking the time, man. Really appreciate it, and good luck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you having me as well.